Gaza?
Gaza. Go ahead, do it, sir.
Okay. You said yesterday that you were aware of reports of U.S. citizens unable to leave Gaza. Do you have an update on how many and any progress on that?
So I think specifically yesterday we were talking about the question as it relates to a group of American citizens who were doctors and medical professionals that have been stuck in Gaza since the closing of the Rafah border. So we're continuing to monitor that situation. We're aware of those reports. As I said yesterday, this isn't a border crossing that we control, but we are continuing to engage directly and actively with the governments of Israel, the governments of Egypt, to advocate for their safe departure from Gaza. We believe that there is more that can be done here, and this is just another example of why it is so crucial and important that the Rafah border crossing be open, not just for the appropriate flow of humanitarian aid, but also for the safe departure for foreign nationals. I will also just want to use this opportunity to reiterate, our advice to U.S. citizens to heed our level 4 travel advisory warning as it relates to Gaza, given the fact that it is a region in armed conflict. The security environment within Gaza is extremely dangerous and volatile.
And then on the aid, do you have an updated number on aid trucks getting into Gaza, and how much has Rafah being closed impacted that?
So a couple things. First, I just want to say, as it relates to Rafah, the border crossing, we are continuing to do everything we can to ensure that the border crossing can be opened. Specifically, we're engaging with the governments of Israel, the governments of Egypt to do so. When it comes to humanitarian aid, we are also specifically trying to do what we can to ensure that Kerem Shalom and other crossings are being utilized as a maximum throughput for some of this humanitarian aid. As it relates to aid that has been flowing this week, we've seen 50 trucks enter Gaza on May 12th. This is not nearly enough. More needs to be done, and it's another example of why the Rafah border crossing needs to be open so we can see further sustained humanitarian aid flow into Gaza.
Okay, and has the Israeli government been receptive on that? What's been their
response? So I talked a little bit about this yesterday. In order for the Rafah border crossing to reopen, we need to see operational and some security circumstances which would allow it to make it safe to do so, and we're continuing to have those conversations and engagements to make it so. But we continue to believe that it needs to be reopened as swiftly as possible.
And then has the U.S. finalized a deal with the UN to distribute the aid from the pier in Gaza? And where in Gaza will the UN take possession of the aid?
So as it relates to any role that the UN might play, I'd let my colleagues at the United Nations speak to that, and on the operational status of the JLOTs or the pier, I'll just let my Department of Defense colleagues speak to some of the operational updates.
So you can't say if a deal's been reached?
I don't have any updates for you on that. Back to John.